March 15th, 1989. It's Dad's birthday, and we're waiting for a singing telegram to come and surprise him that Jack Larkin ordered. Dad has no idea we're even here.
We can't wait to surprise you.
Just trust us.
Camaraderie. Action. Does she really strip?
He wasn't here the first time.
Have you been here before?
Hey, please have your attention. Would all the employees please come to the front of the office?
You buy them under okay? Tell me what you know. Quality 400 megawatt background. What's that? Big words. Yeah. I got an order in. I'm probably this is
Yeah, there's nothing for there. I think that'll be fine.
Get back here.
No, this is the best one. Thanks very much. I'll come back.
Are you sure you got the right person?
I'm sure. If you're Don Larkin, are you Don Larkin?
That's dumb.
Yeah, he's too close to the door. I know you wouldn't want to run away from me. I'm looking for a wild man. I know I have. I've heard about your experiences. I'm looking for a wild man to tame the animal in me. You gotta loosen up. Did you know he could turn his color? It must be your animal magnetism. Cause tiger, you're driving me ape.
I've always thought about this. It's never happened to me.
It's the same thing with motorcycle accidents too, isn't it? You could be Tarzan and I could be Jane. Maybe we could cheat a bit. Not with the bad puns, huh?
All right.
Oh, come on, don't you think I could be the gorilla you dreamed? Well, evidently you don't know who I am.
No, I don't.
Well, I'll tell you who I'm not.
I'm not really a gorilla. Surprise. And I'm not the girl next door. You have a problem with the feathers?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so you can get feather balls that way. Well, have you ever had an Eastern Onion singing telegram?
Not to me.
First time, I'll be gentle. First of all, I can't have a birthday celebration without all the appropriate birthday attire, can you?
Never.
Good, go ahead, take off your clothes. We'll do this in your birthday suit. Well, we're waiting.
No, that's all you get.
Come on, what do you mean, ambience? Here we go.
I'll,
Oh, come on, what's the color?
you wouldn't like what you saw.
I don't believe that for a minute. I mean, what? I wouldn't be the first one to see your little keister. Haven't you guys heard that story?
Just
You guys have heard that swimming story, haven't you? You haven't heard the swimming story? Oh, my word. Well, let me tell you about it. He was about, how old were you? 16?
Who's
He was
this?
16-year-old. They were swimming. He was dunking the girls and dunking the girls. Tore the back out of his bathing suit. Nobody could get his attention to tell him because he was so busy. No need to be shy. from Gawk, so I'm assuming you know who it's from. Because I don't know who Gawk is.
Come on.
Did little brother do this?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna kill you.
Here, is it me?
It's hot in
I
here.
am just...
Uh-oh.
You wouldn't mind having me slip out of this since it's so hot and so uncomfortable. It's just a little bitty zipper. You do know how to manipulate one, don't you?
I don't think I know how to
Oh, come on. I know you're conservative. I'm conservative too.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, let's not do this next part then.
No, it's okay because I get extra money when this occurs.
This is terrible.
With these, are you getting the vapors up there and everything?
Yeah, I'm just...
Relax, lady. It's okay. I mean, we're behind this iron curtain. There are laws. Here we go. Just help. It's okay. Come on, Dawn. I will be wearing something that covers the same thing you would see at a beach. Okay? In Salt Lake. Yes. Okay? All right. There we go. Come on, Dawn.
Chad?
I couldn't make it.
You can do it, Don. This is part of the routine,
Just close
right?
your eyes.
We won't tell you why.
And your wife is going to see how trepidatious you're
It's
being.
your job.
Oh.
You know, I do have some trouble down here at the bottom. Maybe you could give me a hand. Yeah.
Give her a hand. No, really. Give her a hand.
Hang on.
Yeah, just come on there. Been a while, has it?
You told her that too?
Oh, well, I feel better now. How about you? Able to breathe a little easier?
I'm getting really weak.
Morning sickness? Now, you know, we also have this birthday balloon. Well, I'm going to have to find out whether or not you're sound body and mind, because right about this time, I'm starting to have a few doubts. So I'm going to have to do a few tests. I hope you don't mind. So I'm going to go ahead and blow up this balloon.
Why?
Why? Going to have to work on that eye motor coordination. Well, I'll tell you, let me tell you, don't let your tongue hit the top of your mouth and you can avoid making that sound when you laugh. I'll give you this, you can practice at home. We also have this birthday blower. That's to test your lung capacity and make sure that I'm not the only one who looks stupid in front of all these people. So, have you heard about him being a picky eater?
No.
Yeah, picky eater, picky.
Why don't they tell you stories that build me up?
This ain't true.
Yeah, I understand that. You took you ordered some, cherry pie a la mode, complaining how bad it tasted. It was covered with green mold. See, so that built you up. That means that, yeah, you do have some taste.
Yeah, the trouble is I ate half of it.
Well, that's easy to do. I mean, green and red are complementary colors, so, you know, that's understandable. Do you play with everything?
Yeah, but I'm nervous.
Come on, turn around, face the camera. Show them your best side. There we go. Well, most of the women are over here, most of the men are over here, so, no, I have to find out now whether
How long does this go on?
It goes on forever. You thought hell was fire and brimstone? It's not. It's a singing telegram for eternity. No, so I have this little quiz. Consists of 3 questions. You'll have 3 seconds to answer each of those. You only have to get one right to prove your mental ability. Were you here before?
Was I here before?
Mm-hmm. Last time I was here?
Was I?
Yes,
Was it Jerry?
George.
I saw that.
Oh, did I do the quiz?
Do it again.
Do it again. He doesn't remember the answers. What quiz? What quiz? Okay, you ready? First question. Does it snow more in the winter or in the mountains?
In the mouth.
Wrong. You may want to take the full 3 seconds to think about it, so you don't have the wrong answer. Second question. Is it further to Chicago? Whoops, sorry about that. There's about a question. What is the difference between a duck? Time's up. Oh. One of its legs are both the same. You should have guessed that one. You can tell the quiz. You know what this means?
I don't know, but I know.
It means you're just the right mental level to really appreciate it. So you get a song on two conditions. First condition is that during the song you watch the monkey. This one. Second condition is that I get a kiss on the cheek at the end of the song. This cheek. All right. Come on, loosen up. It's almost over. There's just a song that's left.
Take off my hat.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you watching service? There we go. Oh, when you were 2 or 3, your mama would always see that you got a party on your birthday. But now you're older and more mature. At least we're pretty sure. And shouldn't be treated like a baby. 'Cause no one gives a shit about your birthday anymore. No, it's not important, Dad, if you want the truth. It's simply a good excuse for you and your friends to get together. This is the part we dance. Did you get that? That was great. Do some more. Oh, come on. Now don't be a boo. Have you said happy birthday to John yet? You guys want to help me sing happy birthday?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Together on this pitch. You're not with me. Get your hands out of your pocket. Here we go.
You're not in a hurry, are you?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you.
He did send something nice, though. Sweets for the sweet, evidently. You don't have, like, a filling problem or anything, do you? Oh, that is sweet. Isn't that sweet? Oh, I'm sure that you'll agree. Your brain? I have long legs. Your brain starts to atrophy each time that you have another birthday. Unfortunately, it helps remind you that the best part of life's behind you. Oh, that is nice. Soon they will throw your final party. Your teeth will rot, your hair fall out. Are you still? Holy mackerel! Look at this. You are right under here. Are you kidding me? And sex will only refer to gender only. So if you'll join with me, a toast form. Pretend like you're enjoying this too. Somebody went to a lot of trouble. There we go. Change that physiology. A toast to senility. We wish you a happy, crappy birthday. Yay! Happy birthday! You just glaring at me. Well, I'm ready for my kiss now.
Give it to her right on the cheek. Show what you're made of.
Go on, Don. You can do it. You can do it.
Come on. You embarrass her, Don. This is your chance to
Don,
embarrass
come
her.
on. Bend her over, Don. Bend her over.
It's okay, I've been married since the last time. I wasn't going to turn my
Oh,
head.
all right.
Happy birthday. I got to tell you though, doesn't it seem they got birthdays and sex mixed up?
Birthdays and sex and stuff.
Wrong one, that's all day. Happy birthday. Happy birthday
Say to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Don. Happy birthday to you. You better blow them out fast so it gives fire code.
Sprinkler system will go on.
Whoa!
Thank you, everyone.
You were glaring at me. Do you think I would have done that?
I didn't know who was doing this.
Heavens, you still sign the paychecks, pal. I wouldn't dare.
Little brother chatted, I tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. This client of mine didn't know what he'd get into when he came in here.
Ja, noch einen Schuss. Zum Wohl. Ich danke Ihnen. Ja, sicher. Der Dauerbrand ist sehr gut. Ja, ganz mal gut.
It's on.
Hello. We are here at a surprise birthday party for my dad, Don Larkin, and it's his 45th birthday. It's March 15th, 1991.
There's Becky Dad's head. Mike and Donna Sanders.
Todd was just ahead of you.
Yeah, you're a fast man.
Dave Rich. Dad again. Teresa. Punch. Uncle Jack and Aunt Judy.
Well, Annie, we need to keep
we gotta keep going.
Grant called the food. Okay,
Chad.
Jerry.
Introducing ourselves.
Okay, Judy's working and she's doing the job that she's loved all her, wanted to do all her life. And what is that, Judy?
I'm a dental receptionist for Dentist and Provo.
Yeah, she's always wanted to be a dental receptionist, so I think that's wonderful when you find your heart's desire.
An occupation. Is that
And
what
you
you
get
guys
paid
are
for
doing?
it too.
Dad.
And Jack and Judy, you guys have how many kids?
We have 5. 2 are married, and we've got 2 grandbabies.
Todd.
And we've got a
Go turn that light off.
17-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Go turn the light off, Todd.
They just kept going after we quit.
Yeah, that's right.
Will you go turn the light off?
Smart.
Over there, Chad.
Well, we can't have any lights.
Why?
Okay,
Because I can't
now we
see
come
the
to Punch.
Are you sure you can't see?
Punch, I know where you work, but why don't you tell
Can you
everybody
see
else?
him, Tristan?
I work at Delta Airlines.
Okay, and
Do
tell us,
sales work.
tell us how you met Teresa, because I don't know that.
How did I meet you? Well, I've known her for years.
More than 30 years.
Wow! Now you're telling them.
Are
Really.
you
I
sure
didn't
he's
say
not
that,
your
okay?
High school, right?
I always say umpteen or something.
Well, we met in college. 30 years ago.
You're very honest.
Are you sure he's not your brother? If it's been that long?
Yeah, her brother's my best friend. Well, one of them, since we were kids. And up to college. And we would always see Teresa somewhere there until one places. We meet here again, huh?
In Salt Lake
In
City.
Salt Lake City, yeah.
I love it.
Halfway around the world, I guess you'd say that.
So we knew each other in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The last time I saw him was like 74. And then I met him again here in 87.
It sounds like too big of a coincidence, you guys.
I wrote her a letter.
Yeah. Well, Teresa, I want to talk about you now a little because my food's cold. I burnt it. Now it's cold. Can you believe you do it all? But I shouldn't have started. I knew you guys talked together in the office all the time.
I'm sorry. Was that out loud? He's not sorry. He's a troublemaker.
Well, Teresa is everything to Don. I don't know. Sometimes I have to get a little jealous because he praises her more than I ever hear him praise me.
Well, he tells us how wonderful you
Oh,
are.
thank you.
Frequently, we don't tell the people themselves.
Is this my brother you're talking about? Oh, yeah. I spent a lot of time with him. I haven't heard anything.
You know, it's going quick things to listen to.
Okay. I want to talk about Teresa later. I mean, in a minute. But let's get our food.
Okay,
And then we
let's
can
go.
do that because it's getting cold and hot.
So I open the yellow pages and just check mark from A to Z. I call Edwards, no opening. Down, 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 B. And Piper, you know, it's not a national firm, so I don't know anything about Piper. And Stacy was the receptionist. Said, do you have an opening for anything? I wasn't even choosing or asking what the opening would be. And she said, oh yes, as a matter of fact, we have an opening for an administrative assistant. I used to be an administrative assistant in the bank where I worked in the trust department. So I said, I think it's going to be the So I said, can I talk to your manager? I didn't even know who the manager was. And Stacy said, okay. And Don would not talk to me. He said, as always, he said, well, ask her to just send a resume or ask her to just fill in an application.
Are you one of them?
That's just how it
I'm not
is.
going to get that answer. So an hour later, I was inside Piper Jaffrey. He said, can I have an application form from Andy? And he saw me, I think that day, because I was wearing, you remember, I remember you were wearing like this black dress with stripe, and I thought Ken Hansen.
He said that?
Ken Hansen was the manager. Anyway, he said, okay. So I left my application form, and 2 days later, Mary Clary called me for an interview the following day. I thought she was going to be the person who's going to talk to me, but said, no, I'm going to Provo branch. It's going to be Don Larkin. So she talked to me for like 15 minutes, asking me about some things. And I didn't know how I did, because how can you conduct an interview over the phone?
So, Mary had talked to you
Oh
first?
yeah, she talked to me first. And so I was scheduled 10 o'clock. It was a Thursday, okay? And Don Larkin had me wait for like 45 minutes. I was like, okay, 10 o'clock.
Was that on purpose? Got a reaction shot there.
No, he's handling one of your errors.
Saying,
Let her
oh, he
sweat.
had to take his wife to the airport, da 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 da.
Oh.
And when he came, you waiting for me? That's all he could say. Are you waiting for me? And I'm like, oh, this could be the manager. So for 2 hours, the first interview, he talked to me for 2 hours, asking me about anything, my family, you know, what I did the past 15 years. I said, okay. And I thought when I left, I had the job. I said, oh, I think it was your birthday.
It was my birthday?
Yeah, it was his birthday, because I started September 27th. Yeah,
He remembers all these things. See?
His
Darla.
birthday. Listen, you think they're important. Yeah, it is.
Remember this, everything's on tape here, okay?
So, he left a message in my answering machine, and he said, Teresa, this is Don Larkin from Piper Jaffrey. I'm on my way out. I'll call you later. And I said, what is later? So I had to wait for like later, and he called me like 9:30. He said, hi Teresa, this is can you start 8 o'clock tomorrow? That's all he wanted to say. Can you start 8 o'clock tomorrow? I said, sure. And that's how I started.
Great story.
Now we know Don's real personality, huh? That's
You know,
fun.
I've known
I
this
always
all
give him
along.
I give him a hard time about the first day I met him. You're waiting for me. I make sure he remembers.
Well, you know, the other person had been an administrative assistant of an office. I mean, she'd been in the security business out of California. She had all the qualifications, but she had a California kind of personality.
I came from California.
It was
What
that,
is a California?
it was that part of California.
I know.
They're, what are they? They're flashy,
No.
plastic, intellectually shallow.
And they all walk around like they're movie stars just waiting to be discovered.
That's right. And none of the rules ever apply to them.
That's right.
Teresa, we didn't realize that's how we are.
No, she's from San Francisco.
Oh.
Walnut Street.
Well,
But I'll
Teresa.
tell you, I think the entire office would agree I made a good decision.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think you made an outstanding decision.
Well,
You know,
you're
for
well
those-
loved, Teresa, that's for sure.
For
My
those of
secretary,
you guys
too.
that don't know Teresa before here, she's in the office every morning at 7:30 or before, and I don't see her leave 6:30. And I'll tell you what, I have a phone, you know, I use my phone occasionally, And she comes in and wipes it off, and I'm sitting there looking at her. Hey, this never happened before. And sometimes I go in my office and it's got pretty stuff smelling in it.
Teresa, don't spoil him.
Shut up right now.
All right.
You know that part
Where,
about it too.
where am I going?
Don't go any further. There's more.
Well,
Fortune to know you, Teresa.
She even types letters for me sometimes for some of the people I sell ties to. She'll say, no, don't send this one. I say, why? Let's do it on good paper. Here, let me type it up for you. Next thing I come back, it's all stamped and it says, what do you put on the front of the envelope?
Important.
Yeah, important. She stamps important on it. So and Paunch, he sold what, $300 worth of ties for me or something? Sure. No, I'm serious, you have.
hey.
Teresa took ties to him and all of a sudden they were all gone.
Go get that art, that picture of me.
Yeah, it's there by the way. We'll show it to you. As a matter of fact, I'll get it. Well, David, where's Christine? I'll go ahead and go to Mike and Donna since you two are together over here. You were sitting over there.
He's by the food.
This is Mike Sanders and Donna, and they're our good friends from this area. They live in our neighborhood. Well, here's the picture Don wanted everybody to see that
This
Paunch
is what
drew.
Paunch drew. You can recognize me?
He's a talented man. Well, it's kind of dark. Mike and Donna, Mike, tell everybody what you do for a living.
I have an architectural practice in Ogden.
And tell them what you did for us, Michael.
An architectural
I'll tell you what Mike has done for us. He did some plans for us. We have a lot that we've liked. You know, our house is for sale, and we've looked at this lot forever. And so he says, well, get the topographical map so he knew and he ended up drawing the the plans. He came and he asked us how he wanted it. And we haven't gone back to him yet to change a few things, but then he never charged us either. What a deal. I'll tell you, we need friends in every area of business.
Wait till you build
it. Well, he threw a socket to us good.
The interest is running.
Don, tell what, and then we'll talk about Donna too. We've got stories we can tell about
That'll be real
her.
quick.
Tell what they do with us. Why they're our buddies.
Well, they're our boating friends, everybody. Mike owns the boat with me. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
We've had a lot of fun.
And we go up to the condo when we can get away, and we freeze to death in that water.
And Mike's always the first to get in because nobody else will do it.
Everybody's willing, and they get out there, and then before it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and Mike's the only one that gets in.
He dives too. He won't.
He's the manly man.
No. I have to get an early start. I burn out early.
And then Donna, tell them where you work.
I don't know if I dare after the comments that's been made.
Hold the enemy.
Chad, you're missing something.
IRS.
You got it. That's how come Donna's our friend. She protects us there. We got Mike to build our houses for us, and Donna to protect our money. You know. So.
When she gets to the auditing, of L, she just flips right over.
Passes the L completely.
Well, Donna, even don't you call people that are really delinquent and have problems, and isn't that your job?
We do audits, but it's done through correspondence, so I do most of it through mail or on the phone.
So she can be mean.
How would you do an audit through correspondence?
Good, huh?
I don't understand how that could happen.
Just go through the return, and if there's any problems on it, then we just go out
Ask for
to them through
verification.
the
Just
mail.
write and ask for backup on line item, whatever.
If they don't furnish it, you say, pay this amount.
we just assess them.
Move out of your house.
Then they turn it over to the guys with the guns.
The revenue agents.
Well, we've enjoyed Mike and Donna, and we're glad you came tonight. It makes it special to have all our friends here. Then we have Christine and David, and they're our good friends for a long time because we've lived here for a long time. And Christine is, as a matter of fact, I was going to call you Christine and tell you I need your artistic talent, and so I'm going to use it. I am. I'm going to come. Don wants me to start a business, and he's been after me. And I need to have somebody help me with a flyer, so I'm going to make Christine help me.
Are you really going
Did you
to?
Did you hear me tell her? So I got to follow through. Anyway, Christine is talented with art, so. And David is. Now you aren't working now, are you?
No, I was working at Weber State as a graphic designer, and now I'm freelancing at home.
Oh yeah. So she used to do like the programs or the signs that would advertise. Tell them kind of what you
No.
do because.
I worked for the Division of Continuing Education, and I designed all the publications, posters, any publication that went out, brochures. You guys see them all the time, I'm sure. Anything that printed material that comes across your desk has been done by someone that either a good one or a bad one.
And I admired her work because it takes talent, I think, to do that. She worked for you for a little while, didn't she, Mike?
Oh, I
She
did.
does interior design.
Yeah.
Great talent.
Yep. So, jack of all trades.
That's probably where they right.
It's water, Dawn.
That's fine.
Spilled water on you.
Just rub it in this.
David, tell us, David, what you've done in your life.
Move the camera.
You know, when I first became a broker at Merrill Lynch,
No, I meant away from
back
me.
in '78, end of '78, about that time, Dave and I started carpooling.
Oh,
So-
he's going to tell a story on you. I can hear it coming.
Which one's this?
And the situation with David was at this trolley when he was driving, he just goes to sleep. I've been, well, I don't know how he keeps on the road. But I've been with him many times when I've been driving. I've been telling him a story. He's asked me a question. I turn over there. He is out. And sometimes what is really scary is when he's driving and he's like that. Tell us about you, David.
But I was always able to pick up the conversation.
Like he already knew it. Oh, he's come home.
That takes talent. I've been in the business of developing an insurance business with professionals and business people through Minnesota Mutual.
And he used to travel all over the world with the church. Can you imagine he'd give that up and go into insurance, you guys? So, David and Christine are...
Right?
Just the opportunity associated with the state of Minnesota.
That's it. Oh, it sounds like a Minnesotan talking.
Not me.
Well, our corporate headquarters drive.
That's true. That's right.
You know, I've always been amazed there in Minneapolis. It's so cold and such a out-of-the-way place, and why would anybody live there? Boy, the headquarters of so many
It is.
corporations. We'd love to have just all the business of one bank in Salt Lake City.
I'd like to just go visit it, but he won't ever take me.
You've never been there?
Never.
You know, Teresa's gone.
I knew it. Chad,
Teresa has been there, that's true.
see? I knew it. I told you that he can't say enough about her.
Lonnie, there's some very good rates going on.
I may be leaving in the morning. Well, we haven't talked about Jerry and Judy. And
Socialites.
I'm sure there's much that can be said. Jerry, what firm were you with before you came to Piper
I was
Jackson?
with Bosworth Sullivan out of Denver, and that merged into Dane Common Quail, which became Dane Bosworth, and I was with A.G. Edwards for a couple of years, and then
Don't ask him what firms he was with. He don't have the time.
then Foster and Marshall that became Shearson. Never
Jerry, don't you work and play well with others?
Let's just ask you your longevity is. The longest place you were at.
Speaking of long, Judy and I have been married for 18 years.
Well,
And
great.
do you know the definition of celestial marriage, eternal marriage?
Seems like an eternity.
It's just marriage that
Excuse
goes
me,
on.
Christine, I'm gonna just.
There we go. She's been a fabulous wife, and
After that.
and we have an 11-year-old redheaded girl and a 13-year-old baseball playing boy. And it's a full-time job to raise the two of them, and I don't know how any of you folks with more kids do it. We just are amazed.
Well, they have talent too.
We think so.
We've listened to them.
And they're going to be able to accomplish a few things if we have to break every bone.
Set the expectations clearly.
Judy, do you just stay home and take care of those two?
At the moment.
I'm proud of you.
Between everything.
Oh. Community service, I know.
She's been on a lot of boards, and she just nursed a sick mother who passed away, and so she got off her boards and now just kind of rebuilding.
She got off her boards, huh?
Behind every great man is a greater woman.
That's right.
That's right.
This is the case.
That's Jack. I think those two can't sit together.
No, but I can tell Don's brother.
I don't know what that's saying about you, Don.
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry knows anybody that's anybody in town. We have
He knows me.
Rotary together, and you know he is a very gracious person. He'll introduce you if you're with him. He always makes sure that you're introduced, and you know that's a lot of class. And that's just how I feel. So I tell you that.
Well, Don gives me class. I like to be seen with you.
Oh, as if that does it.
Well, I'm glad that everybody got to meet everybody a little bit better this way, so you know how you intermingle with us, and we think all of you are awful special.
It's special that you're all here.
And I knew that you were special to Don. That's why I picked you to come to this party. You see, I picked who I wanted to come. So, I have a few questions I want to ask. Let me go get them. And we'll have just a little
Got
bit
it right
of...
on her finger. Hey, you gotta pass that. Gotta pass that on around. I want everybody to see
Sure I
it.
can get through here.
It's a game called Let's Get the Guests. Is that what she's doing?
Thank you.
I want punch.
I think she still got this one.
Just punch it.
Okay. Okay, I wanted to see how well each of you might know Don. Now, Jack, you can't answer all the questions that I asked.
Okay.
Because I didn't go into his depth because this is kind of a last minute thought. Of course. Okay. Okay, I only thought of two, but I know Don has at least 3 phrases that he says a lot. At least 3.
These 3?
Do any of you know? Yes. Little phrases that he does a lot. Huh? Raise your hand. I'll pick you. Steve first.
Fellows.
Okay.
Deal.
Deal.
Go get the deal.
Okay, go get the deal. That's true. He says it all the time. Get that deal over there, and the kids know
And
exactly.
they're like, what? What deal? That deal over there. You know that deal.
That's good.
She's got her own.
Any others that you can think of? Judy?
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Good,
There you
Judy,
go.
good. I'm thinking of just one more that he says quite a bit that I recognize. In greeting somebody, he'll say this. Does anybody know?
Oh,
Teresa.
hi, good looking.
That's it! Hooray! That's it.
That's appropriate. We didn't know that.
Never says that to you.
He's never heard it.
I've known him my whole life. He's never said it to me.
Oh, you're in trouble. Okay. Don has some favorite hobbies. Does anybody know what they might be?
Bike.
The one that blew me away was that bike. I couldn't believe it.
The motorcycle.
Oh.
He loves to go.
Not just the.
Not only that, it's a Goldwing, not a Harley.
Yeah, it's not a motorcycle. It's a Goldwing, and it's a whole different strata.
It's an
He's
old
a show me,
man's
and
bike.
well, it's nice people do it.
Hey, Jerry, you heard that story too. He's consistent.
And I'm comfortable about it now after I heard that Malcolm Forbes saw that as a recreation. Before I just couldn't imagine a business executive. I couldn't imagine.
He needed somebody legitimate.
Well, that's typical of Jerry, though, thinking for himself.
Yeah. but here's even the most strange thing that he says. He says that Lanny likes to go too.
Did he tell you about the story about him and Lanny?
When they crashed?
Yeah, when they crashed and burned?
Were flying all over?
Yeah, he was going 120 miles an hour.
No, well, I don't think anybody should hear
No helmets. Lanny had no shoes on.
How did it get up to 120?
No helmets, no shoes.
Every time you tell Larkin to crash,
He was going 120 and he come off of it and he hit gravel and he laid the bike down. Poor Lanny's toes got sharpened to a point.
Oh, drama.
But he learned his lesson. He wears a helmet now, doesn't he?
No.
No.
I get
He
one.
wears that stupid cowboy hat.
They don't make those helmets very good. It's really funny when I got my helmet on. She's got her too.
The cowboy hat he wears is so tight to keep it on the wind. Pinches his head.
That's so true.
That's why it's so popular.
You know, talking about cowboy hat, Chad, you know, he used to go to bed with a hat on. He did. I'd say, you coming or going?
I just won't be ready for anything.
He told us he wore his spurs.
Chad, you're back.
This is gonna be blurry. Yeah, like this.
Lanny, that hat wearing the bed was a mess. You failed most of the time.
I'm sure he's told you to, Chad. There's got to be more hobbies than what you guys have been talking about. I'm awful hot. Let's move on. How did Don meet me? Does anybody know that story besides Jack? How did Don meet me? Where? Wrong.
In school.
At college.
BYU?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're from Michigan, yeah, that's an unlikely.
Yeah, but when Don met her, she was
England?
Where else?
Oh.
That's right. You guys did good. I just wondered how many people in your office you've been telling your whole life stories.
I thought he met you in the Philippines. You should have never invited me.
Everybody in the office said, Chad's mean. Chad Emerald thought he's mean. They're right.
I get out of control.
Take them water skiing. The office is not easy to say without Chad.
Okay, gotta ask you another question. What are some of the jobs Don's had in his career?
He's worked for Jacques Panay,
Cleaning stables?
Taters.
Carton maker.
He's worked for the Bon Marché.
That's right. He installed rakes.
Hey,
Did he
I have to make an exception.
Yes.
I've never known him to real work.
Oh, that's not. He's been on the business end of the cow's udder more than.
And he can verify
He's told you that, huh?
Yeah.
3 in the morning.
Jack knows better, and he'll tell you later, I'm sure.
30 below zero.
What else? Okay, You've named a drapery installer,
Bon Marché.
the Bon Marché? Who said that?
Jerry.
Gosh, Jerry, you know, and J.C. Penney's. And there's one other place he worked at.
Oh, Donald. Oh, you already said that.
Huh?
Montgomery Wards.
That's it, Montgomery Wards. And then, of course, Merrill Lynch and Betcher.
Weren't you a janitor too in college?
Yeah, boy, those toilets were never clean.
Oh, we forgot that. BYU days. How could we forget? That's when we ate.
Didn't you sell watermelons too sometimes out of other people's melon patches when you were sloughing school?
Hush, son.
Never tell your kid anything. What he was saying is, one day I left school, and I and two other of my friends, and we were walking along the railroad track, and we were probably 7th graders or 8th.
This is in Willard.
And you know those little cars that come along to repair the track? There was like a half a dozen types in it. And we were out in this watermelon field getting our fill. And these people called and said, come over. We were scared. You know, we were in the wrong field. And they said, is this your watermelon patch? And I said, yeah. And they said, can we buy some watermelon? I said, yeah. So we sold them a whole bunch of watermelon.
That's why he's a good broker.
I understand now.
Okay, I think I'm going to ask just one more question. Let's see. Don had three dreams he had as a kid. Two of them he basically has accomplished. Does anybody know what those 3 dreams were?
Own a
That
Cadillac.
he wanted to.
Own a Cadillac.
Not have to milk a cow anymore.
Not really, but probably in there.
I know the one he hasn't done yet. He wanted to be a pilot as a kid. Always did. We talked about it a lot.
I do that, and I like it to everything else, I'll kill myself.
I didn't know that, Jack. Honestly, I didn't.
Well, I remember as a kid, he used to talk about flying airplanes a lot. In fact, he went and bought one. I busted it. But it was a little wind up.
So it wasn't so bad.
No,
Okay, well, I'll just tell you. These are the things I remember. You correct me if I'm wrong. He always wanted to own a house on the hill in North Ogden and kind of overlook the valley. And he did do that. We lived in North Ogden at one time, and we had a nice little home up there. And the other was he wanted to be, and then the other one was he wanted to be in his own business. And in essence, I would say you kind of are in his business. And then the one that he really hasn't accomplished is he wanted to be independently wealthy by the time he was 35.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not. You guys are...
Unless you've been stuffing away into the sock.
I can't seem to have enough left over to do that.
No, the Nordstrom bills, we know all about those. 3 daughters.
You guys are good. I think what we'll do is we have a little poem to start out our roasting evening tonight.
Are you guys getting bored?
And then, this is fun for you. This is the prop. Okay, Trina and I did a poem for Don at the last minute. We did this little cute poem, and you're going to love it. We want to start out our evening with this poem, and then afterwards, I'll have Chad say a few words for us, and then Jack will end the evening. So it'll be kind of fun, I'm sure. Okay. Where do you start?
Oh, do you want me to do it?
No, I'll do the first part. Where are you doing it?
They're rehearsing.
Start over. Okay. Oh! I'll pass the picture around. Quit! Give up! You're beaten, he thought, and as another day rolled by. Can I read my own writing? Quit, give up. You're beaten, he thought, as another day rolled by. You can't stop that clock from ticking. Someday soon I'll surely die. Energy, where has it gone? It must be my old age. For surely youth has left me now. I'm 45 today. Oh me, oh my, what's left for me? No youth, no energy. I can't even flirt with young girls now. They won't even look at me. He
See, my other guess
Have
about
you
your
got a
job
picture of the
description,
color of his face?
I didn't want to do that.
Then suddenly he turned around and noticed in the mirror such muscular physique and grace each girl would sure revere. So he puffed up his biceps, pulled up his triceps, and strutted down the street. With his true love in one arm and the years ahead to meet. Charge.
He's hiding the pictures under here.
That's no fair, he's cheating.
Can you play?
John.
Have you ever seen
You
me
look
look
dead.
so bad? I'm gonna put that on our wall down.
That was the beginning of our Cancun trip. You should have seen me by the time we were through.
Big lobster.
Look at that tongue. Baby. When did I even
Larkin.
Oh my!
Jack, do you remember when that was taken out of there? The bicep one was taken?
I think it was shortly after his mission or something.
about 10
wasn't
years
it?
ago, isn't it?
When we went to Yuma and we looked and looked for a hotel, remember Judy? You guys?
Yeah.
And we shared a motel together. And
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I felt the last time you guys came to dinner.
He made reference to the fact Betty is lost.
This isn't my birthday.
Don?
We don't have to take anything away from Don.
Well,
Isn't that the ugliest thing you ever
Got a good, firm smile on his face.
Don will never do that again. He'll never have a picture taken of him like that again. I love it.
Just wait till your birthday, Mom.
First gonna get his dad told him something. Son, you don't want to marry that city slicker. You don't want to marry some girl who's gonna spend all your money. Why don't you stay home like the rest of us and marry one of your sisters?
That was good. Yay, Chad. Thank you.
Don's come along.
But Don did tell me he was really thankful to be able to find a girl, a city girl, who could cook country.
All you gotta do is serve cereal.
Bread and milk, cereal.
Well, how many of you have seen Don eat cereal at the office? Teresa has.
He's got 4 boxes under your desk.
Oh my, 4? No wonder my grocery bill's sky high.
You know, you mentioned bread and milk. Judy's a city girl, and she'd never heard of anybody having bread.
Yeah, I had. I just couldn't imagine anyone
But my folks did. They were from southeastern Idaho, and that was oftentimes the evening supper. Little sugar, maybe some preserves or something. Milk, well, maybe one.
Oh, milk toast, that's good. The problem I had was socks. Oh, brother.
What are that?
Oh, brother, tell him what socks was.
Stop.
Mother used to make homemade bread. And you know the ends that she'd cut off sometimes when you'd eat and it would dry out. It would get really dry.
You mean turkey stuffing?
Well, kinda, yeah. And then she'd just kind of break it up and pour hot water over it and whoopee, there's breakfast.
That was it?
That was
I
it.
don't see why that's not one of your We're with you.
Oh.
I still don't like oatmeal or hot cereals because the folks used to call it mush. And just the sound of that, as an onomatopoeia, you know that it's
Not going to be tasty.
porridge.
I
Yeah,
asked my
porridge
mom,
I could eat.
I asked my mother one day, I don't know how old I was, probably in high school, but one time I said, do you think it would be possible someday to have, like, eggs, bacon and eggs? I never said that again. Never.
Quick study, you, huh?
Well, Jack, are you ready to do your
Judy,
duty?
you got my props?
Yes, she's organized.
All right,
You gotta.
bring them right here.
Well, you can.
I gotta come there.
Oh, you got to stand in front of me.
Now see, I
Okay.
got props
Let
here.
me turn this off. There you go.
Okay. You know, as a little brother to Don, you know, you all know him as the mild-mannered, you know, nice, easygoing type kid or guy. Well, that is completely opposite the way he was when he was a kid. I'm living testimony of it. I used to get my fanny kicked once a day whether I needed it or not. He wanted to make sure I grew up right, and Dad and Mom wasn't handling it properly in his estimation. And so, you know, for 40 years or so, I've been waiting for this opportunity. And you know, payback sometimes can be real ugly. And so, brother, you see, I know things about Don that he hasn't even told Lang.
Probably true.
I knew it!
How much money do you want, Jack?
And so, we'll get started here. You know, Don used to do a lot of funny things. One time, we'd have to get home, and as the story goes, Don and I milked about 60, 80 head of cows at night and morning before and after school. And I started when I was in kindergarten, and Don, 3.5 years older than I was, and we were on grade 8 milk, and so we had to feed the cattle, milk the cows, feed the calves, get the hay ready for Mom to fork the hay into the cattle in the morning. And so our days would start about 4 in the morning and end about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And so if he's told you them stories, they are true. But Don and I used to have, you know, kind of find some fun to do with them. And sometimes they wouldn't be quite so much fun, but we thought it was. And I can remember one time we had a corn silage pit, and it was real steep. And Don and I used to pack bushel baskets out of there with the corn silage inside of it. And we were so little that it'd take both of us to pack it up. And but we had a big round telephone post, and the butt of it, I no kid you, was that big around, and it went back the whole, it's probably 40, 50, 60 feet long, and it went to about that small on the end.
On each side of the...
Yeah, on each side, and that's where Dad would kind of make, you know, that would save the corn silage from spoiling. And so one day I go walking out, and here's Don, this big round telephone post, or tie, or whatever it was had rolled off the bank and had rolled into the middle of the corn silage pit. And of course, I'm just walking there, and I know he had to feed the corn silage. And unbeknownst to me, that thing had fallen during the day, but I didn't know that. And so Don, he gets underneath it, he wedges himself clear up under it, so that it looks like that it had rolled on him.
Like it fell on him?
Yeah, and of course Don was great at his expressions, you know, like...
Like that picture.
Like he was dead. And of course Don was always pulling these, always. He used to go hide behind something. And I'd see him go hide behind something. I knew he was there, and he'd jump out and scare me anyway. I could never understand it, but I'm just kind of jumpy. And this time I go into the corn silage pit, and he's sitting there like, and so I think, nah, he's just kidding. He's just kidding. So I said, come on, Don, knock it off. Don, knock it off. So then I go, oh, well, I'll go. So I went up and I shook him. And I go, holy hell. This thing has hit him. And I remember grabbing this thing, and what am I, about 6 or 7, I don't know. And I'm trying to get this thing off my brother. He comes out of there just laughing. He thinks that's the funniest thing in the world.
That's so cruel, Jack.
That was lots of years ago, little brother.
And that old corn silage pit, we used to do a lot of things. I remember one time we had a little dog by the name of Penny. And we were coming by the corn silage pit, and of course we always needed the forks down in it. And I remember Don just took the pitchfork and threw it down in the corn silage pit, and we heard "Roo, roo, roo, roo." We went down there, and he had stuck this dog to the ground with the pitchfork. And this dog.
Don, you're in
You'll get your reward.
But the dog didn't die, but we didn't dare to tell Dad either. Then it was kind of, Don, we always had these chores to do. And Don, as we got a little older, he got a little smarter. And a little lazier, if I might say. And so what he'd do in the morning is we'd get up 4 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime, and we'd get the cattle all in the holding pen, and we'd start the milkers. And about that time, I'd hear the hot water running in the milk room. The milk room's a little room, probably about the size of this living room. Big tank in it, and a place where we washed the milkers. And we had hot water out there, and so Don would turn this hot water on. Now the vats it was like 2 vats. It was a vat here and a vat here, and it was rounded in the bottom. And it was made real nice sleeping for Don when it was nice and cold. And that was metal, and that metal would warm up, and he'd just sleep like a baby.
Don!
And
I did that. While little brother was working?
Oh yeah, I had.
That's the whole point.
You can see why he's such a good manager now.
All I gotta do is show up and I get 10,000. Go figure. I love this job.
But there's no hot water.
I got a couch.
And so he would manage to sleep, and then he'd want me to come and wake him up at about 7, I think, or something like that. And I better have all the cows milked pretty much for that time, because we had to wash the milkers and wash the barn and get it ready in case we were having an inspector come. And that was another story if he came and we didn't pass grade A. Dad, he used to get a little angry with that.
Yeah.
And
What was your dad doing all this time? Was he working?
He's sleeping.
no, Dad, well, we raised right out here in Willard until we moved to Idaho. And we had the cows, the dairy farm, we had a fruit farm, and Dad was very seldom ever home because he worked for Cream and Weaver, and he picked up these 10-gallon cans and would pick them up at the dairies and haul them into the dairy. And so Dad's day would start about 3:30, and Mom would bang on the wall at 4 o'clock, tell us to get up. Don would know that, and then when Dad would get home from that, he was also an artificial inseminator for ABS. And so he took, so he took care of a whole bunch of those.
I know, but he had a big long pause.
I wanted to know if you wanted to know if you knew what that was, but evidently she caught right on.
What's ABS?
American Breeding Association. And so anyway, Dad was there, and so Don and I literally didn't see Dad very much, and when we did, he usually kicked our butts. It was a relief that he wasn't around. And Don, that's right. Am I stretching that?
No.
Have I said anything yet tonight that's not true? I want a commitment. He's going to get worse. But I bought a few things in memory, because you see, you guys would know Don as a manager of Piper Jaffray and a stockbroker. But you see, I know Don all his life, or all my life too. And there's only about one job I think he's truly qualified for. And I brought his tool just in case he didn't have one. So brother, here you go. And
Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
They come with instructions.
We live by Gay Pettingale. Now, I don't know if anybody knows who Gay Pettingale is, but Gay Pettingale, people in Utah County knows who he is. And he's known for his great big red delicious apples. And he was our neighbor. Well, Dad told us about a neat trick, and that is if you would take apples and bury them in a straw stack, you could have fresh apples come December. And of course, being dairymen and what have you, we always had lots of straw. And, you know, we had peaches and cherries and plums and all that other stuff, but we didn't have any apples. But Gay Pettingale had these noise crap. So we worked 2 or 3 nights there very hard getting our apple supply for the winter. Not only that, but we also found some extra watermelons laying in some fields too. And there was a funny thing about that, because you know Dad always grew watermelons. But you know what? The watermelons in our patch just never tasted the same as the ones we'd go steal. I never did think that.
We're brokers now.
And I remember we used to sleep out on the lawn quite a bit. And Dawn and I would act like we're asleep. Pretty soon we'd see the drapes open up, and Dad and Mom would see one of us check to see if we're asleep, and of course we're sound asleep. The light would go out, we'd count to about 50, and we're gone. We had to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times we crawled in our sleeping bags about the time Dad comes and says, come on, you gotta milk the cow.
Oh, dear.
And we were out,
Jack, what happened
Doing
to the
good work.
apples?
oh, okay, we'll tell you what happened to the apples, the same thing that happened to the watermelons we thugged and put in there too. They didn't turn out.
No, not that.
So anyway, we ended up throwing them all away. It was a mess when we got into the straw stack and had to scrape them all out. It was a terrible shame. We were waiting all winter for these watermelons.
We were going to sell them in the middle of the winter
That's right.
and make a bundle.
See, we didn't steal enough just to eat. We stole enough to sell. Don has always been a money thinker. He's always thought about money. That's right.
Oh, man! Cider.
Don, is that kind of how your brokerage business has been?
No.
They're all down here.
Never.
You know, Don was very unique because he always expected me, even though, and believe it or not, you can't tell it now, but when Don was younger, he was always a little on the plump side, and I was always skinny as a beanpole. And my dad, or our dad, is quite thin. And I can remember going somewhere and they'd say, hey, I know whose dad you are, or who you belong to, who your dad is, because Dad was so thin. But we'd go out in the field to work. It didn't make no difference what we're doing, whether we were chopping corn, you know, so Dad wouldn't run over it when he was going to chop the corn with the tractor, or dig a ditch, or hoe watermelons. But Don always expected me to stay up with him. He hated to think he was going to do any more work than me. I always hated this. I was always younger, smaller. But to compound that problem, like if we had one good shovel and one with a broken handle, or a good hoe and one with a short handle, or whatever, he would always stick me with the rock too.
You were shorter! And then expect to keep right up with
And then expect to keep right up with
it.
me. And I can remember chopping corn, and I had this stupid hoe that wasn't sharp. The handle was flopping and loose. And he had this long hoe that he could just chop, you know. My back's killing me. And many times did I get a toe in the rear end because I had not kept up with him. Now, brother, am I lying?
Your birthday's gonna be coming.
Yeah, but by then all the stories will be told.
You know, if we ever had a dirty job, like, you know, when we mowed hay, we'd have to grease the mower about every 2 or 3 hours. And I always kind of knew when it was that time if Don was mowing the hay. Because he'd want to come and get me to grease it, because he didn't like the grease. And he'd say, I used to stand back and he'd go, Jack, how do you change the oil in that tractor? Show me one more time.
To you too?
And so what I got him is I got him a bucket. So he can take care of all those dirty jobs himself. He might use it on his bike too.
He does
and I several times, now I've convinced him to go to Minute Lube. But he always would tell me,
It'd be Todd be the
Yeah,
one
like-
under the car and Don's over there.
I'd have a prom or
Right
something
there.
to go to, and he'd say, let's change the oil cylinder. I'd say, Dad, I can't get my hands dirty because it gets in your fingernails and it's hard to get out and everything. And he says, that's fine. He says, I'll help you. And he says, I'll do the dirty work. He says, you just get underneath and you just pull the plug in that and I'll help you. And I was too stupid to get under there, you know? And it would run on your hands and, son, can you get that filter out? I can't reach it from up here. Things like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm used to this, Todd. I just used to take it in stride.
I've had about enough. I gotta leave. This is too much for me.
Don, that glass is so clean. You couldn't wipe it off anymore. You tried.
But you know, there was a choice experience that Don had when he was about 13. And I don't know if he's ever shared this with you, but this is a true story. But you know, Don was always a ladies' man. He always had the girls around. No matter where he was, when he was 10, he had gals always with him. And we were living here in Willard, and Dad and Mom had taken him and his Sunday school class, I believe.
Jack.
Swimming. And I don't know where it was, Hot Springs or somewhere. And I was too young. I stayed home, but I'm glad I did that. But anyway, Dad and Mom had bought Don a
It
new
was Rainbow
swimsuit.
Gardens.
Rainbow Gardens. And Mom and Dad had bought him a new swimsuit, but knowing Dad and Mom, they probably got it at DR's or War Surplus or something. And so, anyway, Don, he's a running around, he's a going down the slippery slide, he's a riding on the back of somebody, dunking, you know, playing horse, doing all this kind of stuff. And Dad and Mom all of a sudden looks up and the back of his swimsuit is completely gone. I mean, completely gone. Well, Dad and Mom are trying to get his attention. And Don, he's having too much fun dunking the girls and running around on the slide.
And the girls are having a heck of a good time.
He's running up, my understanding, he's going up the ladder and then sliding down. And so, needless to say, but the funny part was finally, Dad and Mom was so embarrassed, they just went over and they said, Don, get it. So Don, he comes running over, what do you want? And they said, your swimming suit's all ripped on the back, Don goes, the folks says he just went wide. He sat down on the edge of the pool, kind of slithered off into the water, kind of walked away around the edge, and then ran backwards into the men's dressing room.
You know how much courage that took to get out of that water?
You're most embarrassing.
Oh, and I had to get him something else. Now this has special meaning to him because it's a fire truck. And Don needed this real bad one time. He moved to Idaho, and he had way too much furniture for the old farmhouse he lived in.
Oh, yeah.
And so he put a lot of it in a shed out back. And he had all kinds of stuff in there, beds, everything.
Swing set.
And swing set, everything. A lot of paint.
Clothes.
And there was an old chicken coop behind it, about from me to Tran, I guess. The wind was blowing like crazy. So we decided to light this old chicken coop on fire and get rid of it. The sad part about it was that chicken coop went up so hot that it caught this building on fire. And it burned everything.
That far away?
That far away.
And Jack went in there. We had these 50-gallon barrels, was it? Aren't they 50 gallon? Full of stuff like clothes or drapes or stuff, you know. Yeah, they were big. And Jack would go in there, you know, into this burning shed, and he'd pick them up and he'd just throw them, and I'd
on
watch.
the ceiling and all that. He was in there just throwing things out.
And it was amazing because the paint would get so hot it would explode and go through the roof, wouldn't it? It would like shoot right through the roof of the.
Like my skill saw, I'll bet it was as far as from here to that wall over there, honestly.
Because I threw it out, didn't I?
And it just melted.
Yeah, it melted it that far away. So
Makes
he
you
really
appreciate
needed this, the
it.
fire truck.
You guys started this fire.
Yeah, we did. He did it on purpose.
And you guys, I gotta tell
He
this
was
part
trying
of
to
the
make me
story.
stay there with this little hose.
And the hose was drizzling out, just little drizzle water pressure.
I'm not good at hoses. Go ahead, son. Go a little closer. Oh, don't mind the singed hair. Go.
That's exactly
It'll grow
what
back.
it was. It was singed. I can remember my train sets in there burning. I'm like.
In all defense though to Dawn, my husband said, don't worry, it won't start a fire. We'll burn this down, there's no problem.
And we'll have this water to protect
Yeah.
it.
Burn the trees.
I've had problems with fire in the past. We won't talk about that. This is him we're frying tonight. But you know, there's another thing. And you know, you all think Don's a great investor. You know, you think that he is pretty good at that. Well, I'll have you know that Don bought $5,000 worth of maps. And he sent another check for $5,000 off for a machine, so he could bender these maps. The problem was the machines never came, and for 3 or 4 moves, I helped move these boxes of maps until they got so old that we finally talked him into burning them. And,
Now wait a minute. He talked me and Todd into selling them around the neighborhood after they were like 15 years old.
But there's no waiting on it.
Hey, she made some money though.
Yeah, we did.
We felt sorry for these little kids.
How current are these? Oh, real current.
Well, you know, I thought that at the time when gas was a problem and everything, that it would be a good thing people buy a map instead of running all over.
well, actually, it'd have been a good idea if the guy had the machines to sell it. He bought the maps from one person and the machines from another, and the guy never had the machines and never delivered it and never planned on delivering it.
Did you have to pay for it?
No, it already paid for it.
Yeah, that was what, brother? About $10,000 boo-boo?
That's what you call
That's
give
when
them
he
the
was
money
working
first.
for-
That's a lesson
Pennies.
learned though that you never repeated either.
That's right.
Just think, Ron, 10,000 into the mutual fund, you'd be a millionaire.
That's right.
You would.
You know, another thing
That's what he
happened
says.
when Dawn and Lanny and my wife and I was coming back from Idaho. There's a truck stop. Cherry. And we stopped, and it was always been, you know, it's always been a good place to stop to eat. And we went in there to eat, and Dawn likes cherry pie a la mode. And so Dawn ordered a cherry pie a la mode. I think Judy and I ordered some French fries and a drink. I don't know what Lanny ordered.
Pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Ugh.
And Don, when he got his cherry pie, he says, this is strange cherry pie. Instead of it being runny like cherry pie usually is, you know, running out a little bit, it's just like Jello, just set like solid up. And Lanny looked at it and said, well, maybe they put, you know, something in it to gel it up. And Don ate about half of it and said, you know, things just, you know, this cherry pie just don't taste very good. And so by then, you know, the ice cream had kind of melted off the top of the pie. And when he went to get another piece of pie, the upper crust came off up where it's up to the top. And when he did it, it came off. And the whole top of that pie was green mold.
Whoa.
Now,
Thank you so much.
and so,
Did you get your money back?
we never paid.
We never paid. Good penicillin.
But you know, those greasy fries you guys had didn't look awful good either.
But you know, what really made
That's
it,
what
this whole deal, you know, I mean, it
Made
was
the
a
bacon
horrible
come
thing
out
that
better.
had happened. But what made it funny is the fact that Brother has always been such a finicky and picky eater. And if something didn't look good, he wouldn't eat it. If it looked gooey or what have you,
Or foreign.
yeah, I mean, you know, he's really kind of a picky eater, and because of this happened, we kind of thought it was kind of poetic justice that, you know, he's the one that ended up with the rotten cherry pie a la mode. Kind of a funny little story.
Makes you want a cherry pie a la mode.
Yeah, and you know, to show you that Don did have a mean streak, he had a girlfriend, and when Don was usually big dating, he would shackle his little brother because we lived on the farm up in Idaho, and we'd have to drive into town.
Brother, we're brothers.
And know where I'm going with this. And anyway, it was around Halloween time, and he had one of his.
Did he go?
Yeah. And one of his friends had bought one of these hands, and it had like 2 thumbs, and it was all stitched up, and it was an ugly looking thing. You've probably seen them in stores. And so, before we picked Janie up, Don says, "Now listen, when she gets in the car, she'll sit by me, and you'll sit by the door, and I'll put my arm around her, but when I've got it there, I'll just slide it behind the seat. And when I do, I want you to take your hand and put this glove on my hand." And so we had it all worked out, and then she come in the car. We started telling her about this crazy guy that had escaped from someplace. And he was last seen in Twin Falls, and he was headed across the Hanson Bridge, which meant that he was coming Hazelton way. And of course, in Hazelton, we had the street lights that was draped, and in the center of the intersection above was the light. So we really had this little gal going about this gruesome stories, how he had one hand and it had 2 thumbs, and how he would use his hand to do all kinds of hideous murders and what have you. Oh yeah, I mean, we really did. And then Don pulled into an intersection underneath the light and took his hand up around her without touching her and put that in front of her face.
Can you imagine? Don, you're mean.
And I will tell you that that's one time I think we both felt bad because she went absolutely hysterical. She was screaming and screaming and screaming, and we couldn't settle her down. I mean, it took us 10 minutes, and she was just still shaking.
How'd you guys get out of jail?
Well, that story's coming. And then just one little thing. I have a keychain, and it says, "Are we having fun yet?" And I've been a pretty good driver my whole life, but when I was 12, I started going to Mutual, and Don would drive at 14 into Mutual. Like I said, he was always a ladies' man, and so he always wanted me to drive, see?
Don, if you got it, you got it.
And so, he would end up wanting to take one of these gals home, and we'd take the scenic route, and I would be shackled with driving.
At 12?
At 12. But he always worried about my driving because he'd say, 15-mile-an-hour, Jack's your limit. And it was always on the back country roads, we'd find a long way to take this gal home. And so I contribute to my ability to drive was to Dawn, with this girl teaching me how to drive. But, I always wondered if we were ever having fun here. And at 12, I never really figured out, because he'd reach up and take the mirror and go out,
Don, your face is red.
It's true.
And it never was really the same girl every night. It was always this one or this one. And it was only until I got a little older did I figure out, so brother, that keychain is, are we having fun? Because I surely didn't have any fun. Anyway, it's been fun. Don and I have had a lot of fun as brothers. We've had our
That
ups and
president
downs.
past tense.
More present than past. But we've had fun, and really it's been kind of an enjoyment because we have worked together so much that even now, if we go out to work on a car or I don't care what it is,
Deer hunting
or what have you, we don't even have to talk about what we're going to do, because like if there is stuff to pick up off the lawn and what have you. No.
Can't quite reach
but besides that, we work together pretty good. And, and we've enjoyed our conversations and the fun and sharing. When we're together, the wives get a little upset because we talk so much about business. But it's been kind of fun to have a brother in the same business that I am, or I'm in the same business as he is. And, we've really had a lot of fun. And in all fairness, this has been fun to roast him, but there's good things that has happened through our lives, too. And you know.
But you can't think of any right now.
Yeah. Or you sleep.
Before we go, did he ever tell you the story about how he got to be the ladies' man that he was?
He never did and never shared it with me.
They were at the beach. And he was walking around. There's this big studly guy there, and all the girls were flocked around him. And so Don was out there, and boy, just the girls would stay away from him. Couldn't get him to come around, so finally goes up to this guy and he whispers and he says, "Take a potato, put it in your trunks." So so Don, the next day, Don goes. He's got his tail, and he's walking around. He says, it comes like, "It didn't work. It didn't work. Besides, I can't figure out how putting a potato in the back of your swim trunks is gonna attract girls."
Is that the truth, Don?
And you asked. I must have really been cool.
Mike's crying. Well, Jack, thank you. Did you have more to say?
No, I think I said it all.
Do you have any rebuttals to all this yet, Don?
No, I want to ask you a question, brother. No, honestly, did I lie about anything?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. That's what I figured. Same story from this guy.
Well, I think it's time we have birthday cake, and Todd picked this cake out. Tell him what you chose, Todd. Tell him the story on this cake, Todd.
He's told everybody.
He's told.
I
was
just
naked.
wanted him to have a good woman in a bikini, but it came naked.
And I sent it back to the store. It came naked.
You know what? Your son is 22 years of age. Do you believe he ordered it with a bikini? I didn't think you were quite that naive.
Talk to Mike and Donna about their son's cake. He kept coming up to my mom. Lanny, you should just get it naked. It'd be funny. And maybe they heard it at Smith's. I don't know, because that's where we got it.
You just wanted to see what it looked like.
Well, we did one once for a friend, and it was the funniest thing. I don't know, but she didn't like it.
I wonder. It's embarrassing. So we're going to put the candles on. We'll let you blow it out, and then we'll have some cake.
You got fire insurance, Lanny?
I know.
Yeah.
We had to buy 2 boxes.
That's right. Well, we were going to put a hole there so the smoke could come up through the house.
Well, we have some presents. Let's have Don open up what we have here.
This is awfully nice.
You had some cute.
Yeah, that's candy.
Jack wanted you to remember to stay there longer.
You put it here.
That's from us, John.
This is for
I
you.
forgot to put down your name.
Did you see my thing that I got him?
It's basic survival.
You didn't see it. You gotta read it.
Mourn the passing of your youth. About the same age as Dawn and Lanny. I just don't really hurt.
Well, folks, she didn't have to.
Wait till you see
Don't say
him.
thank you. Yeah, we did.
He's really Dawn.
Don's basic survival kit.
Take in case of depression. Never enough.
Never enough.
Take in case of depression.
Oh, sweet kisses.
Oh.
Candy kisses.
Is that from Teresa?
Teresa, we don't have to put up with this.
When's his birthday?
I don't know, but I think we need to find out.
Eddie.
Yes, I will find out.
This says a secret stash, stockbroker's dream.
Don't ruin the package.
He's not going to say this.
Isn't that the truth? Money, 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 money.
Ninja Turtles may get that.
Oh.
That may be what has value. Is
That's right. Those will be collector's
Well,
items
that's
soon.
cute.
The Ninja Turtles 2 is coming out soon.
Personal dream machine.
such cute ideas.
Todd
Isn't
get one,
that
you should
cute?
have one.
Let's see.
Motorcycle.
Oh, it's a sport bike. Cool. That's it. Hey, this is a good picture. That's what he looked like when he rode mine. His hands are like this, and his whole body's straight, you know, and he's going down the freeway like this.
Taking case of river trip.
Oh boy. Can I have one of them too?
Oh, lifesaver. Isn't it? Boy, I needed something like that when it happened. That's really clever. Just enough exercise?
Explain the river trip, Dad.
Oh, they
Well, just say that he
Jack and I about died on a river trip a couple years ago.
You had one?
The trouble with me, they don't make a lifesaver big enough to save my life. I found that out.
What was this one?
All the exercise you need.
Oh, all the exercise.
Oh. I love baseball cards.
Okay, that's great. That is cute. Well, thank you.
There's no good stuff in it.
Well, I was wondering if I got everything. Okay.
That's what he looks like when he rides my bike. Isn't that what you look like, Dad?
Hey, Todd, that really
You
works.
guys,
It is, I know.
you've got to see Todd's new bike he just bought before you leave.
Get you a safe one, Mama.
They don't make a safe one that he rides.
Todd, you seen Day for Disability yet?
You'll know.
No, I don't need it. I don't have anybody that I need to.
Last week's chart. Happy birthday. Well, there's nothing more appropriate.
Last week's chart.
These are graphs.
Oh, next week's chart.
We're all after Trent's charts. Well, thank you.
That is so cute.
Okay, so open this. It says being friends with us does have its advantages, especially on your birthday. Look who you get to celebrate with. Stephen Bass.
Asian Games. It's a commemorative medallion.
Is that right? Why don't you pass that around? That's very nice.
Well, I can.
Oh, another one? Do these go together?
Yes.
These go together. Well, what should I do first?
Blue card.
Blue card.
Oh, he opened that. Tristan, you're a
I
coward.
remember the good old days.
Don't
Beware, Mom, it's gonna fall out.
No, it's coming. Look at that.
When it was considered cute for others to help you stand up.
That's Jack. Jack could have sent him that one, huh?
25 on that? Poor
You
girl.
are aging gracefully, however, but I'm always available for advice. Thanks. What is this? The Antec Pharmacy.
Antique.
Oh,
Teresa.
Over the
Teresa,
hill
that's
bills.
your job to read for her.
Over the hill hills. Cute.
Over the hill, Bill.
Yep, that's what I need. It says take 2 pills daily as needed to control advanced stages of fossilistic fantasia or something like that. Aboriginal Arab. Teresa, you gotta read this.
Are you through done? I want to get you to blow these out. I want to see this
That's
pig.
what you'll be doing in about an
Did
hour.
you see what this said on it? It said big 45.
Big.
Of course, that one
She looks
big
like
part's
55.
coming off the cake.
Let's see. Do it to the camera.
There was some other people getting the same cake, but they had a name too.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to light this.
You want me to hold up?
Yeah. You got to blow it out. That's the fun of having 50 candles on.
Here, let me help. There you go.
45.
Just let's not burn the house down, huh? Yeah, we'll need a lot. Yeah, we need lots of help over here.
We'll be-
Everybody want to come and light a candle?
All the guys stand up want to start lighting the candles. I wonder why.
Watch your finger, Nanny.
Fireplace candles, the long ones.
By the
That's
time he
what I
blows this
need.
out, the cake will have melted.
That's for sure.
Is that garbage?
No,
Yep.
I'm
Some
gonna do
is,
it.
some's not.
Careful
Oh, it
now.
is?
That's paper.
This candle's going to be awful teeny when I'm through with it.
Those mounds are going to be melted.
Ooh, you're just brightening right up there, Beth.
I really am looking here quite glowy, huh?
You get electric fingers.
Should we sing now? Again? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dawn. Happy birthday to you.
Can your heart take it, brother? Okay.
One, make a wish.
I'm going to Disneyland.
Come on, Don, hurry up.
More.
He's only 42.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it much. See ya. Who wants some cake and ice cream?
Can I turn it off, Mom?
What do you think they're doing down there, Mr. Henry? You reckon them fighters and torpedo planes will ever get airborne? When are we going after them Japs? We all go together, Cornet. Coordinated attack, remember?